Now let's move on to the pre-colonial Philippine literature. Now, pre-colonial Philippine literature. You might ask me, sir, what are those types of pre-colonial literature during the pre-colonial, or the literature that they had during the pre-colonial period? Now, first is the so-called Riddle or Bugtong. They also had epic or epico, Tanaga, and Akbahan. So the reason why I highlighted the Riddle or Bugtong, it's because that's the only focus or the literature, the literary piece that we will deal for this morning. Now let's move on to the pre-colonial Philippine literature. Now, Riddle or Bugtong, made up of one or more measured lines with rhymes, and may consist of 4 to 12 syllables. Now, Riddle, I know that you're familiar with this. Bugtong, Riddle, right? Are you familiar with this? Hello? Students, are you familiar
Yes, sir.
with Bugtong, right? I know that you're familiar with this. So, that Bugtong or Riddle was established during the pre-colonial period. Okay. Now, let's move on to, or it's already present. I mean, it's already present. It was already present during the pre-colonial period. Now, let's move on to the purpose of Bugtong or Riddle. Now, there are two purposes of Bugtong or Riddle. The first one is to entertain. Second is to educate. Now, to entertain, during the period, living in remote areas before the advent of electricity, families would sit around the fire, and the elder would quiz the younger generation with riddles. Meaning to say, those elders, like, it's a form of entertainment. It's because they don't have gadgets, they don't have internet, they don't have tablets, they don't have phones, they don't have laptops, so they don't have television. Meaning to say, the form of entertainment during the period is to quiz, the elders would quiz the younger generations. That's the form of education system at the same time, which is to entertain. Second is to educate. Now, to educate, riddle serves the function of passing down knowledge from one generation to the next. They require thinking in order to solve them. It's not only in the form of entertainment, however, they also will use it through the form of educating the younger generation. Now, I want to give you some samples of bugtong or riddle. Now, if you know the answer, just raise your hand at the screen and you will call you, or perhaps you might answer it immediately. Okay, let's move on to the first riddle. Now, I'm tall when I'm young and I'm short when I'm old. What am I? What do you think is the answer? Okay, Rose Jean, do you have any idea?
A candle, sir.
Okay, that's great.
Right.
It's a candle. Good job on that one. Now, let's move on to the second riddle. What has to be broken before you can use it? Anyone? Okay, raise your hand. Okay, JV Aloro. JV?
An egg, sir?
Okay, that's correct. Wow, so it seems that you know how to answer the riddle, right? Now, let's move on to the next one. Maliit pa si kumpare, nakakaakyat na sa tore. What do you think is the answer for this? Anyone can guess the answer? No one from your class? Or I'll just call someone. Let's have 3 participants who raise their hand. I can see it yet. Okay, again, raise your hand. Oh, let's have Samantha. Samantha, what do you think is the answer for this?
Langgam po.
Langgam or and? Correct.
At
Good job. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's have dala mo, dala ka ng iyong dala. What do you think is the answer for this? Anyone? Oh, Isa. Isa, what do you think is the answer?
Isa. Damit.
Sir,
Um, Isa, yes.
maybe sir turtles.
Maybe what?
Ano ba?
What do you think is the answer?
Dala ka.
Or let's have JR. JR, you raise your hand.
Sir, maybe maybe basket.
Maybe
Ako, sir.
basket. Yes, raise your hand.
Sapat.
Yeah, JB.
Sapat.
Sapatos or shoes.
Sapatos, sir.
Okay, that's correct. Good job for that one, JB. Now let's move on to the next one. Alright, sapatos. Now let's move on to our alpha and our delta. So this time, I will be calling students. Let's see if you really learned the lesson well. Let's check your comprehension based on what I've just based on our discussion a while ago. So let's have our alpha and our delta. When we say alpha, as I just mentioned a while ago, alpha means the things that you've learned for our lesson or our discussion. Delta are some stuff that you need to improve out from the topic. So let's call, oh, JR, you raise your hand. Yes, JR?
Wala iton sir, kanina pa iton.
Oh, okay.
Sir, kanina pa iton.
All right, so I'll just call someone since no one is raising their hand. Let's have Eunice. I'd like you to unmute your mic, Eunice. What's your alpha and your delta for this morning? Eunice? Is Eunice around? Oh, I guess Eunice's connection is cutting in and out. So let's call another student. Let's have JR, Isa. Isa?
Sir,
Isa, so what's your alpha and your delta? Your
sir,
takeaways.
akon alpha.
Yes, your alpha.
The things I've learned in this lesson is
Or
mga kuan are tawag sini and how and fast na sa pre-colonial and gera panulot
okay.
and
So I want you
use
to state it in Tagalog or in English.
oh sige sir.
Since it's 21st century literature from the Philippines to the world, you can use both English or Tagalog. So let's have alpha and delta again. What's your alpha and your delta?
So yung lesson na I mean yung lesson
Your
what I've learned in this lesson sir is yung pananamit ng mga tao noong pre-colonial. Then my delta was I want to learn on how they use their alphabet before because sa ngayon kasi sir iba na kasi yung sa atin. So I want to learn how they use their
I mean
how
more
they
of
use
their alphabet, right? During the pre-colonial period. I see. Good job on that one. Now let's call another person. Let's have Shali.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Will you please give us
Yes.
your alpha and your delta?
My alpha, I have learned about how they live on the first century
On the
and
pre-colonial period, okay? On the pre-colonial period.
yes, in the pre-colonial period and how they wait.
Continue.
I have learned about how they they live they live in the pre-colonial. I have learned about how how life how pre-colonial life is hard is.
Okay.
Then
How about your delta?
My Delta, I want to learn how to how to speak their language, or how,
Okay, so you want to learn more about how to speak the language during the pre-colonial
and
period.
I want to learn, yeah, about their alphabet also.
Okay, that's very shy. Good job on that one. So any other hand? Any other volunteer that would share the alpha and your delta? That will share the alpha and your delta? Anyone? No more? Alright, so we only have few seconds here on our end. So I'll be sending another link on our group chat for us to continue our discussion for this morning. Okay? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so we only have few seconds on my
Yes,
end.
sir.
Okay, so I'll be sending another link on our group chat and just join the class.
Sir.
Okay.